The 1970s were a wild time for British trucks. Engines got bigger, frames got tougher, and some machines became legends on the road. But a few trucks were so strong that drivers still talk about them today. What made these workhorses different? And which one shocked everyone with its power? Let's uncover the 12 strongest giants. Starting with number 12, we have Guy Big J. Guy Motors introduced the Big J in 1964, but the model remained a strong seller throughout the 1970s before production ceased in 1977. The Big J featured a distinctive flat-fronted cab design that maximised loading space, while maintaining excellent visibility for drivers. Guy fitted the Big J with Cummins engines and Gardner engine options, with the Gardner proving particularly popular among operators who valued fuel efficiency over raw power. The vehicle's cab tilted forward to provide access to the engine, a feature that simplified maintenance in depot workshops. Guy built the Big J with a gross vehicle weight rating reaching 32 tons in tractor unit configuration, making it suitable for heavy hauling applications. The truck used Kirkstall axles and David Brown gearboxes, combining proven British components into a reliable package. Jaguar purchased Guy Motors in 1961, years before the Big J entered production. Production continued under various ownerships until the late 1970s, with estimates suggesting between 6,000 and 8,000 units were manufactured. The Big J represented Guy's final major contribution to the British truck industry before the brand faded into history. At number 11 we have Scammell Routeman. Scammell launched the Routeman in 1962 as a lighter duty offering compared to their heavy haulers, with production continuing through the 1970s. The Routeman operated at gross weights between 14 and 24 tons, filling a market segment between light commercials and heavyweight Arctics. Scammell equipped the Routeman with Leyland 400 and 500 series engines, producing between 112 and 150 horsepower. The vehicle's compact dimensions made it ideal for urban delivery work and operations in confined spaces. Scammell built the Routeman with a wheelbase of 14 feet 3 inches, contributing to a tight turning circle that urban operators appreciated. Early models featured fixed cabs, while later versions received tilt cab designs that improved maintenance access. Scammell targeted the Routeman at local distribution fleets, municipal services and construction companies needing manoeuvrability over long-distance capability. The vehicle used a 4-speed or 5-speed gearbox, depending on the application, with some models receiving a 2-speed axle for additional ratio options. The Routeman filled a valuable niche in Scammell's product lineup throughout the decade. At number 10 we have Seddon Atkinson 200 series. Seddon Atkinson formed in 1970 through the merger of Seddon and Atkinson, launching the 200 series as a medium-weight truck range. The 200 series operated at gross weights from 16 to 26 tons, targeting regional distribution and general haulage markets. Seddon Atkinson fitted the 200 series with Perkins 5.8 engines producing 175 horsepower and Gardner 6 LXB units generating 150 horsepower. The vehicle featured a motor panels tilt cab shared with other British manufacturers, reducing development costs while maintaining competitive standards. The 200 series used Eaton or Fuller gearboxes with 6 to 9 forward speeds, giving drivers adequate ratio coverage for varied terrain. The truck's Kirkstall axles provided durability in demanding applications, while the suspension used conventional leaf springs, front and rear. The 200 series measured 8 feet wide, the maximum permitted under British regulations, maximising cargo space within legal limits. Production numbers remain unverified, though the model achieved respectable sales throughout the decade. Seddon Atkinson positioned the 200 series as a practical workhorse for operators, prioritising reliability over prestige. At number 9 we have Foden S83 Haulmaster. Foden introduced the S83 Haulmaster in 1976 as a lighter variant of their successful heavy truck range. The S83 operated at gross weights from 24 to 32 tons, positioning it below the heavier S85 and S86 models. Foden equipped the Haulmaster with Cummins engines ranging from 220 to 290 horsepower, providing substantial power for a medium-weight chassis. The vehicle featured Foden's characteristic aluminum cab construction, which reduced overall weight and resisted corrosion better than steel alternatives. The S83 used a Fuller R T0950 9A 9-speed gearbox as standard equipment, offering close ratio gearing for maintaining momentum on rolling terrain. Foden built the Haulmaster with Kirkstall axles and a Foden 2-speed auxiliary gearbox on some models, giving drivers 18 forward ratios. The truck's wheelbase options range from 13 feet 6 inches to 18 feet, allowing operators to specify chassis length according to bodywork requirements. The S83's aluminum construction reduced tear weight compared to equivalent steel-cabbed competitors, improving payload capacity. Foden positioned the Haulmaster as a versatile middle-weight option for operators needing flexibility. At number 8 we have Foden S80. Foden launched the S80 in the early 1970s as part of their new generation heavy truck range, replacing the earlier S21 model. The S80 operated at gross weights up to 32 tons in rigid configuration and significantly higher ratings when specified as a tractor unit. Foden fitted the S80 with Gardner 6 LXB, 6 LXC and 8 LXB engines producing between 150 and 240 horsepower, along with Cummins options for operators preferring American power. The vehicle featured Foden's distinctive aluminum motor panels cab, which tilted forward 40 degrees for engine access. The S80 used a Fuller RT 910 9-speed gearbox or David Brown 6-speed unit, depending on customer specification. Foden built the S80 with air-assisted hydraulic brakes, and later models received full air brakes as standard equipment. At number 7 we have ERF A-Series. ERF introduced the A-Series in 1974, replacing the long-running LV model with a more modern design. The A-Series operated at gross weights from 14 to 32 tons, covering light, medium to heavy-duty applications. ERF equipped the A-Series with Gardner engines ranging from units producing 112 horsepower up to the 8 LXB generating 240 horsepower. The vehicle featured a motor panel steel tilt cab shared with Seddon Atkinson and Foden, though ERF specified different trim levels and instrumentation. The A-Series used a Fuller RT 910 9-speed gearbox or David Brown 6-speed unit, with some lightweight models receiving 5-speed transmissions. ERF built the A-Series with Kirkstall or Eaton axles depending on weight rating, using hub reduction units on the heaviest models. At number 6 we have ERF B-Series. ERF launched the B-Series in 1973 as their flagship heavy truck, designed to compete directly with premium European imports. The B-Series operated at gross weights up to 32 tons for rigids and train weights exceeding 60 tons for articulated combinations. ERF fitted the B-Series with Cummins NTC 290 and NTC 335 engines producing 290 and 335 horsepower respectively, marking a shift toward higher power outputs. The vehicle featured ERF's own aluminum tilt cab design, abandoning the shared motor panels unit used on lighter models. Early B-Series models incorporated some composite panels before transitioning to predominantly aluminum construction. The B-Series used a Fuller RT 11609A 9-speed gearbox with splitter function, providing 18 forward ratios for optimal engine speed management. ERF built the B-Series with Kirkstall or Rockwell tandem axles, using hub reduction units on the rear bogie for maximum torque capacity. The truck's air suspension became available as an option in 1975, improving ride quality on long motorway journeys. The B-Series measured 26 feet 6 inches long in rigid 8-wheeler configuration, with tractor units measuring 20 feet overall. At number 5, we have Leyland Mastiff. Leyland developed the Mastiff during the 1960s as a specialised heavy-duty truck for construction and municipal applications, with production continuing through the 1970s. The Mastiff operated at gross weights from 24 to 32 tonnes, with most units specified for tipper or mixer bodywork. Leyland equipped the Mastiff with their 500 series fixed-head diesel engine, producing 170 horsepower as the primary power option. The vehicle featured a steel tilt cab with simplified trim to reduce costs for fleet operators, prioritising durability over comfort. The Mastiff used a 9-speed Fuller gearbox with crawler ratios for off-road work and steep gradients. Leyland built the Mastiff with reinforced chassis rails and heavy-duty suspension to withstand the shock loads from tipping operations. The truck's wheelbase measured 13 feet 6 inches to 17 feet, depending on body requirements. At number 4 we have Seddon Atkinson 400 Series. Seddon Atkinson launched the 400 Series in 1975 as their heavyweight offering for long-distance haulage. The 400 Series operated at gross weights up to 32 tonnes and train weights exceeding 60 tonnes in articulated configuration. Seddon Atkinson fitted the 400 Series with Cummins NTC 290, NTC 335 and NTC 350 engines, producing 290, 335 and 350 horsepower respectively. The vehicle featured an improved motor panels tilt cab with better sound insulation and driver amenities compared to earlier models. The 400 Series used Fuller RT 11609A and RT 1250 9A 9-speed gearboxes with range change functions, providing up to 18 forward ratios. Seddon Atkinson built the 400 Series with Kirkstall double drive axles or Rockwell tandem bogies for maximum load capacity. At number 3 we have Scammell Crusader. Scammell unveiled the Crusader in 1968, with production continuing strongly through the 1970s until 1982. The Crusader operated at gross weights up to 32 tonnes for rigids, and train weights reaching 80 tonnes for heavy haulage tractors. The vehicle featured Scammell's distinctive fiberglass cab, tilting forward for engine access, mounted on rubber isolation mounts to reduce vibration. The Crusader used a Fuller RT 910 9-speed gearbox or David Brown's 6-speed unit, with heavy haulage models receiving twin splitter transmissions for additional ratios. Scammell built the Crusader with walking beam rear suspension on tandem axles, providing excellent traction on uneven ground. The truck's wheelbase ranged from 11 feet to 24 feet, depending on configuration, with heavy haulage tractors using extended frames for fifth wheel positioning. At number 2 we have Leyland Buffalo. Leyland introduced the Buffalo in 1972 as a heavy-duty truck designed specifically for construction and quarrying operations. The Buffalo operated at gross weights from 26 to 32 tonnes, with most examples specified as 8-wheel rigids. Leyland fitted the Buffalo with their 500 series fixed-head diesel, producing 170 horsepower as the standard power option for most of the 1970s. The vehicle featured a short steel tilt cab optimised for maximum chassis space behind the axle, allowing longer tipper bodies. The Buffalo used a 9-speed Fuller gearbox with low-range ratios, suitable for crawling up quarry roads under full load. Finally, at number 1 we have Leyland Marathon 2. Leyland launched the Marathon 2 in 1977 as Britain's first truly modern long-distance truck, designed to compete directly with European manufacturers. The Marathon 2 operated at gross weights up to 32 tonnes for rigids and train weights exceeding 70 tonnes in articulated specification. Leyland equipped the Marathon 2 with their TL11 turbocharged engine, producing 220 horsepower. The vehicle featured an Italian-designed cab, influenced by Leyland's collaboration with DAF, providing exceptional driver comfort and visibility. The Marathon 2 used a Fuller RT 11609, a 9-speed gearbox with splitter function, giving drivers 18 forward ratios for fuel-efficient cruising. Many units featured air suspension, though mechanical suspension remained available as standard on some configurations.